is on the target. No, no. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. They say I'm dangerous 'cause I broke all their cages. No, I won't sit and take it. No, no. They left me for dead, I guess I'll never learn. Every time I break, there's just more pain to burn. They'll never, never, never learn. Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. I'll never run. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling me, they'll be calling me royalty.
We are in the third week of a brand new season, and we've seen two separate winners already this season. And what a better track to come to than our first visit to Europe and the classic Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps here for the Endurance for Amateur Series. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. My name is Sam Cooper here for the Pony Express Sim Racing channel here on YouTube. And joining me this week is not Mr. Byron Rodney, because he's stuck in a snowstorm somewhere. This week we have Mr. JR Cup, the master of mediocrity, stepping in last minute to fill in for Byron. JR, sorry to drag you away from your racing duties, but we've got a big race here tonight with, well, quite a number of drivers again already.
Yes, Sam, welcome. I'm glad I could join you tonight. Looking forward to some action. I'm just trying to get everything fixed and loaded and set up.
Yeah, it should be a fun spectacle, and I'm just updating a couple of things for myself, so I'm still a bit behind myself, but we are getting ready to go for another 100 minutes around this classic circuit now. It's gonna be a long one here tonight. Obviously, Spa is no joke when it comes to endurance racing. Endurance racing, we know this track primarily from the 24 Hours of Spa and obviously the world famous Belgian Grand Prix from Formula One. So we know exactly what this track is about. These guys know what this track is about. This is the third time they've raced here in their history. We are about to go to qualifying in the next 2.5 minutes. JR, I know you were meant to be driving tonight. What are you expecting out of this one tonight? Basically, not just from a driver's point of view, but from a spectator's point of view as well.
Well, Sam, first of all, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm only catching about every other word you said there, but
oh, okay.
From a driver's standpoint, this is an awesome track. It's absolutely amazing. I personally, it's one of the tracks I really love coming to. It has all the technical aspects and all of the fun aspects, and a lot of places you can get yourself in trouble, but a lot of places to pass too.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where you can make those passes. Obviously, you can make those passes down into the La Source hairpin, which is the very first corner of the track. But interestingly, at the start of this race, you don't start on the GP section. Now they start on the endurance section, but they end the lap on the GP section. It's very confusing as things stand right now. We do have a lot of paints loaded in, so I do apologise. Trading paints is being a bit slow tonight, so you just have to bear with me for just a second as we're on board with Daniel Barnett in his BMW right now. This is the second longest track we've been to so far this, well, since we started broadcasting on here, JR. Obviously second to the Nordschleife, but this one is pretty long in its own right.
Yeah, it is. It's I think we're going to be looking at somewhere around 2 minutes 13 seconds for the GTE guys and about 2:19, 2:20 seconds for the GT3 guys. So it is quite a long lap, but there's not very many places to relax. It doesn't. It's got some long straights, but even on those straights, you still have some corners and you still have a lot of traffic to deal with.
Yeah, there will be a lot of traffic tonight. There is a lot of cars in this session here tonight, and it's I think it's a pretty even split right now between GTE and GT3. Obviously no LMP2 anymore. That was dropped after the first round at Canadian Tire, which means we've got 3 separate winners coming after round 1, only 2 coming after last week's race at Motegi. And there is one of this season's winners already, Zach Purcell, in that number 51 Ferrari. Had a great race and won at Canadian Tire to the shock of everybody. Had a very mediocre race by his standards at Motegi. We'll be looking for a better result here tonight. Last week's winner was Doug Buchanan. Now, I don't see his name in the list. It should be here somewhere, though. We'll find him in just a second, but it's going to be with what we've seen so far this season, JR, it's going to be a case of who's going to pick up the win this week. We've got no we've got no Doug Buchanan this week, actually. We've got David Lehman here, though.
We don't, but if you look through, I think you're going to notice a name that has made a return, and he hasn't been around for a while. Where is the gentleman at? A former champion several times, but it looks like he just dropped out. Mr. Carl Handwerk is here tonight.
Yeah, Carl Handwerk was very present last season, and unfortunately not going to be here for this one this season either. He's actually just coming out on track right now in his Heineken machine. So he's making his way out on the endurance pit road. Lots of drivers out on track right now. We've got a lot of times to get in. Obviously, yellow for GTE and blue for GT3. So I take that back. Blue for GTE, yellow for GT3. It's only been a week and I'm already confusing things right here. As we're still looking at Carl Handwerk just making his way around the track, just coming through Brucelle right now.
Yeah, there's going to be quite an emphasis on qualifying here. You don't want to be anywhere near the back of the pack coming through a Rouge for the first time. You're going to find yourself in a spot, you know. Now, they don't have, you can't pass until you get to a Rouge, but that doesn't mean when you get to the top of that first corner up there, you're going to be chaotic.
Yeah, we're on board with the championship leader right now. That's David Lehman, the GTE leader right now, as he's got a very decent points haul over second place Doug Buchanan, but Buchanan not here tonight, so he's going to be dropping some points after this one. We are going to go on board with the man that is leading the championship. That is one Mr. David Lehman, and we're going to get a good look at how this track is as he goes through the La Source hairpin for the first time here tonight, and he makes that big long run down towards Eau Rouge and up the hill through Radion.
Well, fortunately, Sam, I cannot see any of these drivers tonight. I'm not sure what's going on with my timing and scoring application here.
It can be a bit slow sometimes, but I can keep up with it. But I can give you a good track guide with David Lehman anyway. He's making his way down the Kemmel Straight now. He's got to find his braking point very quickly at the 100 mark. Just slow down, get yourself into third gear, into this sweeping right and into the left and into the right again as he makes his way down to what used to be called the Brucelle Corner, as it's a very long right-handed brake at the start of the rumble strips and pick your marks. Find that apex around there as you set yourself up for what is now called the Jackie X Corner. It used to be called No Name, as he makes his way down towards one of the other famous corners around the track. This is Pouon. It's a long left-hander, which is going to catch you out if you get it all wrong. Very easy to get an off-track there as you set yourself up. Come out of that as you go in towards the Fania section. It's a right and then a left. And then straight on into another right-hand corner. This is Stavolo. Set yourself up for the exit of Stavolo and up as you make your way down through this final very fast section as you come through one left-hander and another famous left-hander. The name escapes me because I've got a goldfish brain, but as we make the way down towards the famous bus stop chicane, we're going to have times coming in very thick and fast now as Lehman comes through the bus stop chicane. At the bus stop chicane, Matt Johnson and the Met will be going first in the times. Paul Skip will go to the top, and David Lehman will only get third place in this one. I know, second place. Paul Boyle goes fourth. Terry Calger Jr. on the pole. Calger in the Porsche. It did start off in LMP2, struggled a little bit, but now in his element, back in a class where she's almost claimed the championship twice. Has not had the start to the season he wanted to, had very mediocre first 2 rounds, but looks to be on the pace this time around as he's slotted onto the pole. On the pole for GT3 is Mark Thomas now. He's a man that's going to be looking for his first race win. He's in the Ferrari this week after running the BMW for the first 2 rounds of the season.
All right, Sam, it looks like I might actually be loaded up here.
Okay.
I had to switch applications, Sam, so bear with me. Sorry, like I said, I was planning on doing some racing tonight.
Yeah.
But sometimes things change, right, Sam?
Absolutely. As we just had Carlos Ramos. For some reason he's showing in GT3, but he's actually GTE. So I'm going to rectify that one right now. Accidentally turned up in GT3 last week. That's why he's showing up in GT3 this time. But there he is. He's slotted into 13th place in that GTE class now. New drivers in the field right now. We do have one Mr. Doug Argabright making his debut here tonight. He's driving for EE Sports as well, alongside Carlos Ramos and when my brain starts working. Oh, he's not here tonight, actually. I take that back as even I'm having issues here tonight.
Yeah, not sure what's going on.
Aaron Fulford, that's the name that I was trying to think of. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. My brain really is not working tonight. But that is Doug Argabright. He's representing the same team as them, as Argabright gets it all wrong coming out of the left-hander there through Stavolo, not really working, actually through Fanier, not really working in his favour. So that is your running order in qualifying so far. Cowger is on the pole in GTE, followed by Brad McCombs, who's up to 2nd place, with Paul Skip in 3rd. Patrick Ripley, who had a poor race last week in P4, won in the LMP2 class. Obviously, those points carried over into GTE. He's the one that is joint 2nd in the championship right now with Doug Buchanan. Then you got David Lehman in P5, Ronnie Osmer up to P6, Paul Boyle. Then you got Nick Terrell, Tyler Langenberg, Keith Roycroft, Matt Johnson, Doug Argabright, who's on the screen right now, Carlos Ramos, Carl Handwerk, Jimmy Covert, as we've got other drivers as well. Andrew McMurray is not going to be happy with where he's put his time in 2:19.093. That's mixed him amongst the GT3 drivers. And we've got Ryan Glover and Daniel Barnett as Adrian Garcia Vigil, I'm guessing that's his name, is just out on track now, putting his time in. Oleg Vorotniak, who's just switched over to GT3, also out on track as well. We've got a lot of drivers out on track right there tonight, JR. It's going to be a very, very packed race here tonight.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting this many people, but Spa tends to bring out a lot of drivers, a lot of guys like this track. It's very much a racer's track. You can get it all right and you have a great night, but you can get it all wrong and go home quick.
Yep, heartbreak of the night last week went to this man, Alex Cornfield. Led for most of the race at Motegi last week and unfortunately ended in, I think it was P13 he ended in after unfortunately wrecking his Ferrari. Rocking the Batman paint scheme this time around. Could have used that last week just to, as it was running at night time. I mean, the dark night, you know.
Yeah.
P7 this time around. Not so fast this time, but we mentioned this on Monday, JR. There's a big difference between qualifying pace and race pace.
Oh, a huge difference. One of the things though with this league is you don't get a qualifying setup. Your race setup and your qualifying setup are the exact same setup, no fuel difference. So while it is a little bit difficult to qualify, you are absolutely correct, Sam. These guys, running 2:17s in race or in qualifying pace, it's going to be a lot different when you get 40 guys out on track tonight. 43, in fact.
Yeah, 43 drivers out on track right now. Let's go to the grid for tonight's race. Starting up on the pole in GTE will be Terry Calgar Jr., who will be joined on the front row by Brad McCombs. Row 2 will be Paul Skip and Patrick Ripley. Then you've got row 3 with championship leader David Lehman and Ronnie Osmer. Then you've got row 4, Paul Boyle and Nick Terrell. Tyler Langenberg and Keith Woodcroft bring up row 5. Row 6 will be Matt Johnson and Doug Argabright. That's row 6. Row 7 is Carlos Ramos and Daniel Hingley. Row 8 will be Carl Handwerk and Jimmy Colbert. Row 9 will be Andrew McMurray and Ryan Glover. And row 10 will be Daniel Barnett and John Nielsen, with Adrian Vigil bringing up the rear in GTE. In GT3, we have Mark Dillon Jr. on the pole in that class as well, and he's looking to build off the back of a very decent running on Monday in open wheel for amateur. Then you've got Mark Thomas, William Alcala and Nicholas Paletti making up row 2. Marcus Osborne and Zachary Nurnberger row 3. Carl Smith and Alex Cornfield row 4. Tony Watson and James Foreman row 5. Aaron Claiborne and Roger Shank in row 6. Alex Matola and Adam Dahl make up row 7. Then you've got Dave Ferrara, Dan Coleman, Tom Corner, Aidan Svoboda, Gary Schilling, Oleg Vorotniak, Sean Crowley and Zach Purcell rounding out your field of 22 drivers in GT3, as we are pretty much ready to get going here at Spa. So very stacked field for this one. 100 minutes of racing to get underway as the field starts rolling, with Terry Calgar Jr. leading them away. Yeah,
again, we get to that really awkward start here at Spa, where you start in a different spot than the lap actually ends. So a little bit of confusion for the start of the race, but once we get rolling, it'll all make sense, I hope.
Hopefully, as they come down towards the bus stop, and they are not allowed to start until they've gone past the La Source hairpin. The pace car may peel off after there, but the green flag doesn't come out until the after the hairpin, so they have to be careful through there, as they are still pacing coming down towards that hairpin now.
Yeah, it is an awkward start. I know the first season we came here, everybody took off when they got to that, what is eventually the finish line, but it's not the start line.
And this is the part where... Sorry.
Green flag.
And there it is, green flag in the air. We are racing here at Spa as they make their way down towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Terry Calgar Jr. leads them up the hill for the first time, and everybody going to come flying by in single file. No passing until they get to the end of the Camel Straight. Now that is your GTE field that's gone by, as there goes the GT3 field being led by Mark Thomas. Carl Handwerk up into second place, and got him in the wrong class as well, so please bear with me for just a second as we get this one figured out. GT3 field is underway.
Yeah, it looks like everybody got away nice and clean. Oh, we do have an incident coming into the first corner. The Batmobile and the Monster Energy truck collide.
Oh, and
those guys look like they're...
That's Alex Cornfield in trouble already. Brad McCombs is in trouble as well, as he's facing the wrong way on a one-way street, as that is not going to be the way he wanted to start this race. He's going to be mixed back in with the GT3 field, and a lot of damage on the right rear of that car. He's got to stop. Oh, wow. Not the way Brad McCombs wanted to start at all this evening. Alex Cornfield in the same boat as well, and Tony Watson, James Foreman, a lot of drivers involved in incidents already so far in this race.
Yeah, and I just lost everything again, Sam. I don't know what's going on tonight.
It's okay. It's because there's such a big field, it kind of affects the server sometimes. But we are going to keep going anyway. Eric Hager Jr. leading the way in GTEs, followed by Paul Skip, then Ronnie Osmer up to third. Great start for him, as he's already up and away in his Corvette. David Lehman up to P4, then you got Paul Boyle, then you got Nick Terrell. Tyler Langenberger's up there as Doug Argabright has had an incident. Let's take a look and see what's happened to him. We're going to try and go back and find out what happened as Mackenzie Johnson is in pit road as well. Let's see what's happened to Mac. Well, he's got a lot of front end damage on this car. Not really sure how he got that. I think it might have been a collision with Brad McCombs. We're going to find out in just a second if I can find it. But a lot of drivers that you wouldn't expect to get injured early on are actually getting injured already. As Mackenzie Johnson already fallen victim. Brad McCombs already fallen victim. Carl Smith is already in pit road as well, as should be Alex Cornfield. Now, Alex Cornfield is still going, but is pretty far back in the field right now, as we are already have one lap in the books. We are actually on lap 3 now.
Yeah, you're correct there, Sam. It is, the server is just having a heck of a time trying to keep up with this many cars on the track and this big of a track too.
Oh, we're actually on lap 2. I apologise. And yeah, it's always affected with the amount of drivers that are out on track. It always affects the servers the way they do. I've just learned to deal with it, and it's not always easy.
Well, that is why you're the professional, Sam.
Oh, I'm the most unprofessional of professionals, as I've already mentioned. But anyway, as we bring up the top 15 in each class right there, and it's that's how it's going to stay until we start whittling things down here. At the moment, we're going to take a look at a battle right now. Carlos Ramos is trying to hold off a plethora of cars right now. That is Keith Roycroft, Daniel Hingley, Doug Argabright is in that mix, as well as Patrick Ripley, winner of round 1. Then Nick Terrell is trying to get past the GT3 drivers, who amazingly are not all that far behind the GTE drivers, I will say. As we're still focused on the GTE drivers, still focused on this battle in the mid part of the GTE pack. That's Carlos Ramos right there, but Keith Roycroft in the biggest battle right now, trying to hold off the that's Doug Argabright trying to go through. And who was that trying to go through? That was actually Daniel Hingley trying to go through on Roycroft, and he gets the job done as we're on board with Roycroft coming down the hill through Eau Rouge and up the hill through Radion for the third time here tonight. And nice big line of cars there, as that is Carl Smith coming out of pit road behind them, albeit now 1 lap down from the GTE drivers, about to be 1 lap down from the GT3 leader, as there goes Nick Terrell around the outside of Carl Smith.
Yeah, Sam, I'm just trying to keep up with you. I'm watching the GT3 drivers. I can't get the GTE drivers to come up on the screen for some reason. I'm having issues here, Sam. Like I said, everything was set up for racing tonight, and so
yeah, just take your time.
It looks like we got looks like the top 5 or 6 in the GT3 class are nose to tail coming through and having a great race. Mark Thomas looks like he's leading Carl Handwerk and Jimmy Covert.
Yeah, Jimmy Covert running in GT3 tonight. Not really sure why he chose GT3, but the Ferrari is a popular car around here, and I can understand why. Maybe getting some early practice in for 24 Hours of Spa coming up later this year, but definitely looking to have a good result in this one. Already running P3, but like you said, this GT3 pack very bunched together right now.
Yeah, these guys they've kind of sorted themselves out a little bit, and I don't know if they're just taking their time trying to get some laps in. You know, they do have 100 minutes of this race. We still have 90 plus minutes to go. There's no need to start pushing too hard yet. But it looks like they are. And just as I say that, here we have a pass coming into the final chicane.
It's William Alcala. Just putting the pass on Jimmy Covert right there, as Gary Schilling has had more problems. Daniel Hingley has had a problem as well. He's fallen down the field. Daniel Barnett has had a couple of problems. Adam Dahl has had a problem as well, but he is still running and trying to chase down Daniel Barnett right now, as still everything happening thick and fast right now. The battle in GTE, actually there's going to be a battle for the lead in a minute. We've got a breakaway battle going on right now. Terry Cowger Jr. versus Paul Skip, the two teammates for Pony Express Sim Racing, going at it hammer and tongs in this early running here at Spa. David Lehman, and meanwhile, has got around Ronnie Osborne. That's your battle for third place at the moment in GTE. Just little pockets of battles going on in GTE. It's just everybody's... Oh, and that's Daniel Hingley into the tyre barrier. And I'm not sure where that is. Can't really see where that is. Another car involved, and it looks like Nick Terrell. As Hingley gets it out of the barrier, is facing the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, Sam.
I'm going to go back and find out what happened. It looks like Nick Terrell was involved as well. Oh, Terrell went off of trying to avoid him, and Hingley was already spun there.
Well, it looks like Nick was able to... Oh, and we got another incident that...
Oh, and that's
I think
Roger
Shank just had...
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there, JR. They're going to go to it right now.
Looks like Roger had some help, though. Not sure who that was on the inside there.
That would be the...
Luckily, Roger...
That was Ryan Glover that got him.
Oh, and looks like... Man, they are having all kinds of issues down here tonight, Sam.
Yeah, they are. And that's...
Like I said, there's plenty of room on this track, but, man, you can get it wrong, and the way these corners link themselves together, you can't afford to have your momentum stopped at any time. You've driven this track enough. You know exactly how much momentum means on this track.
Yeah, you need a lot of momentum to try and get the best foot forward, and a few other drivers going off at the same time as Shank in that exchange right there. Looked like to me it was Daniel Barnett, and I couldn't see who the other one was. I think it might have been right. No, it wasn't Ryan Glover. I'm gonna go back live right now and just try and figure out who that is that went off as well. Was it? It wasn't Tom Corner. It wasn't Alex Cornfield. It might have been... I actually don't know. It's actually confused me. But anyway, that is how things lie right now. We're looking at a couple of GTE drivers right now. Andrew McMurray in the Porsche right there. And I believe he's in the GT3 Porsche, am I right, Andrew McMurray?
Yeah, it looks like he's in the number 42 Porsche.
Yeah, GT3 one. It's very hard to tell the difference between the GT and the GT3 one.
Yeah, those cars are so similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew's in the GTE class tonight.
And yeah, he's got the GT3. He's got the GT3
he's in the
paint on it.
GT3 class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're slowly working our way through this. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, but there's a lot of confusion going on with a lot of drivers here tonight, and for some reason my timing and scoring keeps putting them in weird positions.
Yeah, that's the same issue I'm having. Is I can't exactly tell who's where anymore, because every time I look at somebody, it moves them in a different spot.
There we go, we got it right. Andrew McMurray is in P8 right now in GT3. Nick Terrell is in GTE. That's evident by the fact that he's running a Corvette right now, just not able to keep up with the GTE class and only able to hang with the GT3s at the moment. He's right behind James Foreman in that Ferrari. I will admit, I wasn't joking when I said the the Ferraris were very popular at this track. There are a ton of them here tonight, and I've got a whole screen full of Ferraris here. Only a few BMWs, Lamborghinis, and well, there's a couple of Porsches scattered in there as well.
Well, you know, that Ferrari is a new car. It did just come out, well, I suppose a couple months ago now, but it does. That was the car of my choice for this evening, and it handles amazingly well on this track. So it is become kind of the car of choice, similar to the BMW was last year and the Audi the year before that.
Yeah, and when they finally release the new Mercedes GT3 car, I'm guessing that's going to be the car of choice when that comes out. But definitely going to be a very popular choice as we go to a battle for the lead. And Paul Skip has taken over the overall lead now. And I believe last time I broadcast at this track, Paul Skip was one of the faster drivers around there. And he's proven that once again here, JR. He is in the lead of this one and starting to pull away from Terry Calgar Jr. already.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Paul does have a great feel on this track. He is fast here. And I am happy to say that in the 24-hour of Daytona, Paul is my teammate. So I guess I drew the lucky straw, or Paul drew the short straw, depending on your outlook.
You're a capable driver. You can think of yourself better than that. But yeah, Daytona is coming up this weekend. Going to be a good race, as we always have a good time there, no matter what team you're on. It's always a good spectacle, even as a driver, maybe even as a spectator if you fancy staying up and watching the race for that long. But always enjoy Daytona, as we've had a problem for, let me go back through my notes, Nicholas Paletti, last week's GT3 winner. He's had an off track through No Name, I believe. Yep, just ran a bit too far wide, but he's still on track right now. Very big win there for Nicholas Paletti last week. Like I said, that Doge Squad Racing team really coming on strong lately, especially with Aaron Claiborne picking up his first ever win in an open wheel for amateurs on Monday.
Yeah, those guys have been doing great. They've been putting in a lot of time, a lot of practice time, and it's really started to show this year. That's an up-and-coming team. It'll be fun to watch how they progress the rest of the year. They've done a great job so far.
Yeah, lots of battling going on in GT3 right now. We've got 5 cars, nose to tail right now, being head, well, side by side. And they're going to go side by side up through Radion. They nearly did. It was Tony Watson and Zachary Nurnberger really going at it through Radion. Now, Watson came off the stronger one in that one. Nurnberger backed off, and probably backed off a bit too much now, because he's been absolutely swarmed by other drivers now. That's Aaron Claiborne to his outside. We have Andrew McMurray in the mix, as well as James Foreman just behind them. We have a battle between Marcus Osborne and Nicholas Paletti. There's Alexander Matola in the Ferrari, and he's running the, I'm guessing the Formula One inspired Ferrari paint scheme. Very good one there. And right behind him is Alex Cornfield, who's slowly picking his way back through the field after that off earlier on the first lap. Matola gonna have his work cut out to keep that Batman inspired Ferrari right behind him.
Yeah, Alex is gonna have a long night of looking at the rearview mirror of that Batmobile. Alex Cornfield is really fast. He just had that bad incident to start the race, and luckily for him, it was at the beginning of the race, no damage. He's going to have a lot of time to recover that.
Yeah, the recovery already
looks like Zach Nurnberger managed to recover, and he's got back on pace here. Didn't lose too many positions.
Yeah, he managed to get back ahead of Aaron Claiborne. Now can set his sights and trying to close in on Tony Watson. It's very easy to forget that Tony Watson is the Season 1 GT3 champion. I mean, it seems so long ago. It was actually a year ago when he won it. So, well, almost a year ago when he won it. So it's easy to forget that he's already a champion in this league.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been a year since we started this league. And I remember competing with Tony for that first season championship. It was great. We had a good time. And Tony's a great driver. He does a lot of series, does a lot of different classes. And it's nice to see him back out here. I know he's been fighting some illness, so that can't be fun as well.
Yeah, fighting the illness that shall not be named. Yeah, we're going to treat it like Voldemort in this case. So
yes.
But Tony Watson doing ever so well, sitting in P4 in GT3, 7 seconds off the back of Jimmy Covet, who's still trying to close in on the back of William Alcala, who's trying to get the position back from Alcala. At the moment, it's Mark Thomas with the runaway lead at the moment in GT3, over 4 seconds ahead of William Alcala in that Alitalia Ferrari.
Yeah, these guys they're surprisingly tight. You know, tight packs of little groups of guys everywhere, running good, running clean racing for the most part. We've had a few incidents, but not too bad.
Oh, Alex Cornfield's just jumped to pit road. Let's just take a look and see what's happened to him. It's saying he's just jumped to pit road. Now, what happened to Alex Cornfield? We were just talking about him. And oh, that is a lot of damage on that. Oh, he took somebody with him. That would look like it was Aiden Svoboda. Adam Dahl was caught up in it as well. That's a big hit. Alex Cornfield causing a big wreck there, and that was up through. Oh no, Alex Cornfield got into it. The James Foreman had spun there. Alex Cornfield got into it and got into it again with James Foreman. Wrecked the back of the car, and it already gone past pit entry. That's caused a scramble for both Daniel, I believe that was Tom Corner, and for Roger Shank there. But Alex Cornfield, second race in a row, it's just gone bad for him after such a lot of promise. And Alex Cornfield, I believe, is out of this race now.
Yeah, it does show that on my timing and scoring screen. Alex, just he's that bad luck he had in Twin Ring just seems to follow him tonight.
He's not out of the race. He's in pit road actually. He's getting some damage repaired, but he did unfortunately take a couple of drivers with him. Adam Dahl and Aiden Svoboda both in pit road as well, repairing damage on their cars. As we go back to the leader of GT3 right now, he's just been passed by Nick Terrell. William Alcala can't really do anything about him. He's just lost another 0.3 of a second as this battle between Terry Calgar Jr. and Paul Skip is raging on. Terry Calgar Jr. back in the lead now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. These two drivers are going at it, though. This is a big battle here for the lead. I'm sorry I haven't focused on it too much. That was the pass there from Terry Calgar Jr. on Paul Skip now. And this battle's still going on as they're coming into the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, these two have been nose to tail, and Ronnie Osmer has managed to claw his way back in to this battle slowly while these two have been fighting. Ronnie's been able to eke back. He was about 4 seconds back. Now he's cut that down to 3 seconds, and if these two guys keep fighting, it won't be long before Mr. Osmer's in there to join the battle.
Yeah, Osmer representing VSM Racing, running in third place right now, is somewhere down the line got around David Lehman. Actually, Lehman's had an incident somewhere because he's dropped a few spots. Now I'm going to have to go back into my list to find out exactly what happened to Lehman, but Lehman's dropped a few spots there. I can't think that he's been slow because we both know David Lehman is not a slow driver by any means of the word.
Not at all. I'm trying to see if there was an incident with Tim.
I couldn't see anything.
I don't see anything. I don't know if he just...
I don't see any damage on the car either, so he's... I'm not sure what's happened to David Lehman, but he's back in P6 now anyway. Tyler Langenberg and Paul Boyle having a heck of a battle right in front of him, though. This is a crazy battle. A lot of Porsche on Porsche action going on right now as Tom Corner has had an incident. He is, well, he's just had an off track. I'm guessing that's through the bus stop chicane. Right in front of him is that Mehmet machine of Mackenzie Johnson making his return to the series after, well, not just going through some personal problems, but through work commitments as well.
Yep. Yeah, started a new job, so that's taken up a little bit of his time, and nice to see him back out here and racing. I know he really enjoys this racing, and he also enjoys the F1 series, so hopefully he's able to continue to do that as well.
Yep, as he's making his way through the GT3 field once again after a very early pit stop to repair some damage on his car. He's in P12 in GTE right now and looking to keep progressing further forward as we've got that battle still going on between Tyler Langenberg and Paul Boyle, and that has brought David Lehman back into it as well. So the GTE field starting to bunch up a bit now. Paul Boyle just got passed by Tyler Langenberg, and now Boyle under threat from the championship leader.
Yeah, looks like, I'm not sure what happened to David. We'll have to see if we can't go back and look, but looks like he's found his pace and he's right back on these guys. See if he can't make his way back up into the 4th position.
Yep, and I'm keeping an eye on that time between Paul Skip and Ronnie Osborne. The gap holding at about 3 seconds right now. We'll go to that in just a second, but we're going to look at this one now as here comes David Lehman. He's sizing Paul Boyle up for a pass here into the chicane, and he has to back out of it. Just ran out of room there. He's got to try again, but this technical part of the track is not easy to pass on as they are letting Tyler Langenberg just sail away in that 4th spot right now. Langenberg having a much better race here tonight, has had a pretty quiet first couple of races this season so far.
Yeah, nice to see Tyler out there running strong, running up front with these guys, typically where he runs. And you know, Sam, it's you have to make that pass here and you have to commit to it. The problem is if you don't make that pass, you lose so much time that the guys in front of you just walk away. So it's a pick your poison kind of a track. You got to make that pass, but it's got to make sure that you can make it and maintain your momentum. And it looks like Terry Krauger has managed to stabilize the battle up at the front, Sam. He's kind of just got a half a second gap on Paul Skip, and they're kind of holding steady. Nice to see Terry up there running up front.
Yeah, 2-time runner-up in the GTE class, behind the runaway champion for the first 3 seasons, Mr. Dennis Diaz. And now we'll see his chance to try and get that one step further. Has had a pretty slow start to the season as Paul Boyle, Boyle has had a big incident there, and I'm guessing he's got an incident with David Lehman. Now we're seeing incidents with David Lehman. Let's take a look and see what happened here. And this is coming out of Blanchimont down towards the chicane, and Boyle just trying to defend the position, just went a bit too far wide, and poor David Lehman, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah, David, there was nothing he could do about that. That was some pretty tough, tight racing right there. I don't know if either gentleman will be real happy about the results of that.
Yeah, and Boyle coming off the worst of that one. He's got some rear wing damage now, and we'll be looking to get that repaired at the earliest opportunity when he takes his pit stop. But as ever is the gentleman, as much of a gentleman as David Lehman is, he's actually let Paul Boyle have the position back.
Well, he probably got a slowdown too, Sam. You know, that he technically, well, it wasn't his fault. He probably did get, you know, for cutting the chicane there a little bit, but I don't know if I would have been quite that nice.
Yeah. But
and that's Tyler Langenbrenner says, "Thank you very much, gentlemen," as he's managed to give himself a nice little gap there, put himself in a little comfort zone for a few laps.
Yep, as this battle going
now,
on
the
again.
one thing we haven't.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, I say the one thing we haven't talked about, Sam, is pit stops. They are using the endurance pit stops, and you and your team are masters at the pit stop here, correct?
Well, I wouldn't say masters. The pit wall on the hairpin between the GP pit stops and the endurance pit stops actually flipped me on my roof the one time. So yeah, I've got memories of that, but not happy ones. But as we go back to the battle for the overall lead here, Paul Skipper's taking the lead back, but look where Ronnie Osborne is. He's clawed all that time back, and we now almost pretty much have a three-way battle for the overall lead here.
Yeah, it looks like Ronnie's managed to slowly catch up to these two guys, and he's almost in that area where he's going to get a little bit of a draft coming up through Eau Rouge. And, you know, once you get in that draft, it's not the longest straightaway, but if you get that draft, you can really pull in some time really quick on those two guys running in front of you.
Yeah, as Paul Boyle has come into pit road to repair that damage on the rear end of his car. I'm guessing he's going to take advantage of this and get a pit stop out of the way as well. As Alex Cornfield has had another crash as well. And has jumped to pit road. Let's see what's happened to him. This is through Pouon. Just runs too far wide. Trying to slow it down. And just gives it up. He's not going to... Well, he's just basically said, yeah, I'm not going to take any further part in this one. I'm just too far back as we go to Aaron Claiborne. Actually, let's go and focus on the battle for the overall lead here. This is where all the action is at the moment, and Paul Skip back in the lead, Terry Calgar Jr. in second, Ronnie Osborne in third. They are almost nose to tail right now, and this is your only battle in GTE at the moment, as everything really...
Yeah, the rest of the field is pretty spread out in the GTE class.
Yeah, they are. As Paul Boyle is on his way out of pit road after repairing the damage on his car. Now, I'm just saw Tony Watson has just come into pit road. Now, not sure if that's because of an incident. We're going to take a look and see if this was a natural entry into pit road. I'm pretty sure it is. It is, but he's got some front end damage on that Porsche though, JR. I think he's gonna. He's been doing a bit of bump drafting, I think, somewhere.
Well, and now these front runners on the GTE class are starting to catch some of these GT3 guys. And so not only are they going to have to race each other, they're going to have to make sure they pick their way through traffic pretty carefully and not catch these slower guys at the wrong time.
Yeah, trying to pick out who that is just ahead of him. I think that is one Mr. Carl Handwork, and it is just making his way up through Radion. So Handwork is going to have his rearview mirrors full of GTE cars in just a second. Just ahead of him is Dave Ferrara, who's just making his way to the end of that straight right there. The green Ferrari, I believe, is Gary Schilling. Now, he was involved in the melee on lap 1, has been trying to recover ever since. And not really having the best of times here tonight. But here come the GTE leaders. As there goes Paul Skip gunning around Handwork pretty easily. But the other two behind him making him a bit of a meal of it. And that's let Ronnie Osborne right onto the back of Terry Calgar Jr. here.
Yeah, Ronnie has closed the gap down. And be curious to see how he handles this when he gets into the middle of this fight. He hasn't had many racing opportunities tonight. He's just been kind of driving around trying to catch these guys. And now that he's caught them, I'll be curious to see how he handles the battle.
Well, he had that early battle with David Lehman. He lost out on that one, but since then he's really picked up his pace and really started showing these guys what he's made of. As Calgar almost runs into the back of Schilling, and that's let Ronnie Osborne just sail on by into second place. That was I'm not sure if that was a mistake by Schilling that caught out Terry Calgar Jr. or if it was Terry Calgar Jr. just getting a bit too impatient behind Schilling.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but again, one little mistake and Ronnie just was sitting there, right man, right time. Oh, and looks like Terry Calgar is in the pits.
So an early pit stop there for the man that's now in third place, about to be fourth place when Tyler Langenberg gets around him. So an early pit stop here. We are about 31 minutes into the race, so you can kind of think maybe that this is the time for the first round of pit stops to start. But again, on that same question, is 31 minutes a bit too early to make that first pit stop?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's going to be right on that timeline. You know, these guys, we're going to have to make 2 pit stops. And I guess maybe he's playing some pit strategy. Maybe he's got the fuel calculator working and he knows exactly what he's doing. And we'll find out here in about a half an hour.
That we will, as we pass the 32-minute portion of this race. And Terry Cogliano just making his way into pit road. That's promoted Ronnie Osborne up to second. Well, he was already up to second and now already starting to close in on Paul Skip right now. Now, the Corvette seems to be running very well around here. The most popular cars around here are the Corvette and the Porsche. There are some Ford GTs out there. Obviously, Patrick Ripley is in one. Daniel Hingley is in the other. No BMWs in GTE this time around, which is shocking considering last season, I believe, there was more BMWs than anything else out there last season.
Yeah, that is kind of a big shock. It was hands down the most popular car the last couple seasons, right? That and in the Corvette. And so I'm not sure, but yeah, it's nice to see a nice mix of the cars, and it's nice to see the Ford back. That's a beautiful looking car.
And Patrick Ripley is the lead Ford in that one, in the Motorcraft machine, trying to close down on Tyler Langenberg now. Ripley had a very difficult race last week, which ended in retirement. Now, hopefully, he doesn't suffer the same fate this time around. We're only 30 minutes into this race as Paul Skip is in pit road for his first pit stop from the race lead.
Yep, so I guess they were cutting it close. Looks like Ronnie is going to stretch it out one more lap. Or be curious to see, now that Ronnie's got a clear track, what kind of pace he can run.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely a track that you can do the undercut or the overcut on very easily.
Well, this is the most,
depending on traffic.
This is the most clean air he's had all night, so he may as well take advantage of it. He's coming up on the back. I believe that is Aiden Svoboda in the GT3 Ferrari. Maybe looking to maybe pick up a toe off him. A bit far away though, as Patrick Ripley and Keith Roycroft have all gone into pit road as well. So wholesale pit stops happening in GTE right now. Carlos Ramos is in as well. Doug Argabright has carried on in his Corvette. He's not stopping for fuel right now. Nick Terrell also promoted up through the spots as well, as he continues on as Mark Thomas still, and I apologize for not mentioning it so far, as we've seen an incident. What have you seen?
Oh, you had just mentioned Ronnie Osborne was trying to get around lap traffic and he almost lost it. He came down the back hill there, and I'm not familiar with the names of all these corners, but that double left-hander on the back, and he almost lost it making that pass on a slower car.
Double left-hander being poo on.
Yes.
Just think of,
thank you, Sam.
Just think of poo and on. Poo on.
I had it the first time, Sam.
Pit stops happening in GT3 as well. Nicholas Paletti is in pit road, as well as Alexander Matola. Then you got Oliver Vorotniak, Roger Shank, Tom Corner, Shane Crowley, who we've not mentioned yet tonight, in pit road, as well as Dan Coleman in pit road as well. Lots of things going on in this one so far, as Ronnie Osmer pits from the lead here, JR.
Yep, it's going to be wholesale pit stops, as you mentioned, Sam. These guys got to make that long 37 mile an hour, and believe it or not, a lot of times these guys, hopefully they all practice, because as you come down the first set of pit stops, that might not be where your pit stop is. You come up and you have this 90-degree corner that I've seen more people get caught out and crash in pit lane here than any other place.
Yeah, it's happened to me on more than one occasion.
Yeah, No, me as well. I didn't even know the pit lane was like that the first time I raced here, so.
It's the only pit lane I know where you have to negotiate a hairpin just to get to your pit stall. That's the only one I know.
And it's a hairpin made for motorcycles. I don't think it was ever intended for cars to drive through there because it's only about 7.5 feet wide.
Or if you're driving a Mini.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm guessing that's a good reason why they're not running the BMW GTE car this season, at this race this season, because it's just...
It wouldn't fit in the pit lane.
No, it wouldn't. So it's a good job they're not running it this season. As Ronnie Osborne comes down the pit road now, where's that going to put Paul Skip right now? He's just coming down the straight right now. Ronnie Osborne is going to lose out here. Or is he? Because he's just coming out of Radion right now. Where is Paul Skip? And Skip is going to rejoin behind Ronnie Osborne. So Osborne getting the overcut on Paul Skip through that pit stop. So great strategy there by Ronnie Osborne.
Yeah, Ronnie played his cards right, and now he's in the lead. Now we'll have to see if he can pull away from these guys. You know, he's on a little bit colder tires. These guys got one more lap to get their tires warm. Be good to see how Ronnie pulls ahead. I know he's been frustrated the last couple weeks. He hasn't had the best of luck.
No, he's not. He's he retired early at Mategi last week, and I think he retired at Canadian Tire as well. So 2 retirements, and be leading this one after 2 retirements is a pretty big improvement, if you ask me. So good one for Ronnie so far. Paul Skip is still with him though in that second spot, and don't count out Terry Calgar Jr. either. He's right there. Patrick Ripley is in P4, but a full 14 seconds off the back of Terry Calgar Jr. Not exactly close right now if you're outside the top 3.
Yeah, and 14 seconds, that's a pretty big gap for those guys to try to make up on strategy alone. But there is a lot of traffic. You're going to end up, the classes are going to start to get mixed together here pretty heavily. So there's a chance for some incidents to happen, and you can get it all wrong here at Spa in a heartbeat and end up on the hood of your car really quick coming up Eau Rouge.
Absolutely. It's, we're still focused on Patrick Ripley right now, and he's got a battle of his own brewing up right now. That's Tyler Langenberg right behind him, and then actually Patrick Ripley getting the jump on Tyler Langenberg through the pit stops right there, getting out ahead of the Porsche driver. Tyler Langenberg had a great season last season. We'll be looking to go a bit further this time around, and as battles resumed between David Lehman and Paul Boyle, they're in a battle as well, this time for P6.
Brad McComb's just pulling in the pit lane there. I thought maybe we had another incident.
No, he's in pit road to collect his, I believe this is his second stop of the night. Oh, it's his first, but he's still playing catch-up after his big incident on lap 1, so he'll be the last of the GTE drivers to make the pit stop. Now let's look at the GTE field. We do have a change of lead. That's Carl Handwerk in the lead of GTE right now, but I don't believe Handwerk has made his pit stop. Oh, Handwerk has made his pit stop, but it was only 10 seconds in his stall. Now that is a very unusual pit stop.
Now the only thing I can picture is that is fuel strategy, because you know you're going to have a splash and go. So he's playing the long game. He's already made the calculations to figure out how much his splash and go was going to be, and looks like he took it now, which means he'll run another 3/4 stint and then have a full stint to finish the race. Hopefully that strategy pays out and his math is correct.
We've got a problem here. David Lehman is showing us out of this race. We've lost David Lehman.
Him anywhere.
Yeah, we've lost David Lehman. I think he's had a connection dropout. No, let's take a look and see. Oh, he's had a connection problem or some kind of technical failure. He went straight on down the Camel Straight into the Armco barrier and has stopped and disconnected. So that is quite obvious signs of a technical failure on David Lehman's part, and that is going to be absolute disaster for him, as we've had a change for the lead. Overall, Ronnie Osborne now down in second. Paul Skip has regained the lead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Ronnie just didn't have the pace or if he had an incident there. I didn't see where he went off track. But we know Paul Skip, we talked earlier, he has pace here. He is fast here. He likes this track. He knows this track.
And it does. And going back to David Lehman, massive heartbreak for him. He would not have enjoyed that, having that kind of technical failure like that. Came in tonight as a championship leader, probably won't be after tonight with Patrick Ripley running as well as he is up in P4.
Yeah. I mean, now they do have a couple drop weeks, so he is able to drop a couple races throughout the year, and I would imagine this will be one that he's going to have to drop, although the race he was having and the pace he's probably going to regret having to drop this race. Looks like he could have scored a lot of good championship points tonight.
Well, he's already scored 2 race wins in a row, so a hat-trick of race wins would put him in a very good standing in the championship. Now, with him retiring as things stand right now, this would open the championship fight back up again, especially with Paul Skip. He's right up there in the championship as well, and he knows that a good result with David Lehman dropping out like he has will put him right up there in the championship fight. Ronnie Osborne, though, he's kind of having his say right now. He is not letting Paul Skip go at all.
Yeah, Ronnie's going to be in there, I would imagine. He's in several leagues, so imagine he's going to be fighting for a few championships. He's probably burned his 2 drop weeks, so that means he's going to have a consistent race every race for the rest of the season, and that's not easy to do.
Well, it's not. I heard an engine going just a second ago, and I'm pretty sure I know who it is, and it's this man in the KISS car, Mr. Daniel Barnett. I'm not really sure what he did. He's going through pit road at a very high rate of speed. I think he's just purposely put himself out the race.
Well, meanwhile, Sam, Ronnie Osborne has managed to overtake Paul Skip and take the lead back coming out. He got the nice draft all the way through a Rouge and managed to pull alongside and make the clean pass. So Ronnie Osborne's back in the lead at GTE.
And a great pass by Ronnie Osborne. And has already started to pull away about half a second ahead of Paul Skip. What's more amazing to me, though, here, JR, is the fact that even though he was right behind them after all the pit stops have panned out, Terry Calger Jr. has fallen a full 11 seconds off the back of both of these drivers now, which is very unusual.
Yeah, I don't know if he has damage to that car and it's just not handling right, or if he had some incidents.
I think
he was right there 3 laps ago, and he is losing a lot of time to the race leaders, which is very unusual for Terry.
I've just shown you reason why. He got into it with Shane Crowley after he was trying to lap him. He went through the La Source hairpin and tried to go around Shane Crowley. Only problem is I don't think Shane Crowley saw him coming, because he pitched Terry Calger into a bit of a half spin, which is the reason why Calger is now 12 seconds off the back of the top 2. Now, Ronnie Osborne and Paul Skip, these guys are still going at it right now. There is a battle also in GTE between Aaron Claiborne and Alexander Matola. Not as close as the battle for the overall lead, but still a battle in any case. Matola and McMurray trying to close in on Aaron Claiborne right now.
Yeah, these guys are really starting to have a little battle amongst themselves. Back here, like you said, not a battle for the lead, but a battle nonetheless. And we both have raced many times, Sam, and any battle is feels like a battle for the lead.
Yeah, any battle is a good battle as far as from a broadcasting standpoint. Anyway, it's always nice to see a nice battle. As we've had a problem for one of the GTE drivers. We actually haven't had a problem for one of the GTE drivers. He's still right there. Keith Roycroft is still going. Daniel Hingley is in pit road for his second stop, and Ronnie Osborne has had an incident as well. Oh, what has happened to Ronnie Osborne? He's still in second place, but he's fallen off the back of Paul Skip. Let's go and take a look and see what happened here. He was trying to get around Oleg Vorotniak. Vorotniak wasn't exactly being kind to him there. Tried around the inside. Vorotniak just came, but they both went for the same real estate. And Vorotniak, well, I hate to be a bit blunt there, Vorotniak took out the leader.
You know, that seems to find Ronnie wherever he goes. He has a nice clean race and something happens, and sometimes these guys don't understand, you know, blue flags, move over, leaders coming through, and some guys are just racing or maybe just had an issue. It's hard to tell, but either way, that's a bad break for Ronnie Osborne tonight. Hopefully he can recuperate from that real quick.
I should imagine he will. He's not too badly damaged. He's got a bit of a crinkle in the rear wing, but nothing too serious. As that mid-engine Corvette, obviously not going to be damaged from that if it's just a rear wing strike, but he's only fallen 3.3 seconds behind Paul Skip, so it could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Correct. It could have been horribly bad. You know who else I'm really impressed with tonight, Sam, is Carl Handwerk. Now, he's racing this series before. He's fast. He's good. We all know this, but I talked to him briefly before the race, and he hasn't raced since last season. This is his first time back in his rig. He thought he'd better get some laps in before Daytona, and he is out here just putting on a clinic tonight.
Yeah, and I've just realised the reason why David Lehman has retired, and I know the reason why Daniel Barnett has retired as well. Both of them suffering technical failures now. David Lehman tells me that his headset died and he got the blue screen of death as well. And Daniel Barnett, he says he lost upshift and then his VR went black when entering pits, so everything pretty much died there and he couldn't see where he was going and obviously went straight on into the pit wall. As we are looking at Carl Handwerk right now, he does have a 2.7 second lead over William Alcala, who amazingly has actually got ahead of Mark Thomas, not through the pit stops but actually on track. So Alcala is on a bit of a move here, as in the background that was Aidan Svoboda just making his way into pit road.
Yeah, nice race tonight by Alcala. He is right on pace with these guys, and I'd be curious to see if he can continue that pace and catch up to Carl and maybe give Carl a run for his money this evening.
Well, that would be the hope anyway, as we always like to see close racing no matter how long the race is, and Alcala would be right up there. He is right up there. He's already dispatched Mark Thomas, who started on the pole and was dominating the early part of this race, and now finds himself, well, he doesn't seem to have the pace after the first pit stop. I wonder if he's not enjoying himself after that first pit stop. I mean, there can be some differences that after the pit stop that you don't like, or he's adjusted something on that steering wheel that's not to his liking and might have to go back into pit road to readjust it again on his next pit stop. Something might be affecting him there, but Mark Thomas definitely not showing the pace he did before the first pit stop.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you go in and you come out and you have a little scare. The tires are cold. You got that full tank of fuel. You get that little bit of, you know, one time you might slide a little bit more, or it just doesn't feel comfortable, and you back off the pace for a little bit. Hopefully nothing serious, and Mark can get back on the pace. Be nice to see him manage to stay up front here and even get back up there and battle for the lead after such a great qualifying laps.
Absolutely. As there is Thomas actually being shadowed for overall position by Brad McCombs, who's still on that recovery drive. And I have noticed it's starting to get dark out there as this race is going on. And yeah, we are on dynamic time, so I think we might be finishing this race under darkness. We'll get confirmation, obviously, of that at the end of the race. As car handwork, well, that short fill of fuel there in that first pit stop is, well, that's already come to an end. He's making his second pit stop right now, JR.
Yep, so Carl's in. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. You know, we still have quite a bit of time left in this race, and I don't know if he's going to be able to make it on this last stop. He's going to have to go 44 minutes on one tank. I don't know if you can pull that off. That's some serious fuel savings.
I will soon find out as he's making his way down towards his pit stall right now. And that will give the lead of the GTE class over to William Alcala now. Alcala now 1.7 seconds ahead of Mark Thomas, as we've got Oleg Vorotniak in pit road as well. We do have a battle for third place though. Terry Conker Jr. is getting into it with Patrick Ripley for that third place in GTE right now.
Yeah, these guys have they've been battling for a few laps now. They've been just kind of following each other around, and it looks like Patrick Ripley is gonna complete the pass on him. Nice pass, power moves around the outside, uses that draft and that long straight, the power of that Ford coming through tonight.
Yeah, seems to be enjoying driving that Ford as well. I've driven the Ford GT at Sebring. I did the 12 hours of Sebring in that car, and I did enjoy running it. Only problem is I didn't have the support around me to finish the race, because during that race everybody fell asleep and couldn't wake up again, and I was literally running the car by myself and had to retire it because nobody would take over. But for the time I did run it, I did enjoy running the GTE, the Ford GT. Very nice car to run, and as they're making the way around, I believe that's James Foreman they've just put a lap on. Terry Conker Jr. not letting Ripley get away though. This is a very good battle we're seeing right now between two very fast drivers.
Yeah, nice to watch these guys battle. Hopefully they can have a clean battle and not take each other out in the process, as we've seen a few racers do already tonight.
Hopefully that's not the case, as we've already seen it happen between David Lehman and Paul Boyle. And Boyle is still feeling the effects of that one. He's down in P6 right now. Still a good 26 seconds ahead of Keith Roycroft, but if it wasn't for that contact with David Lehman, it would have been a much better situation that Paul Boyle would be in right now.
Yeah, Paul just was unlucky, but it looks like he's got all that damage repaired. You know, they do have the fast repairs that they can use, so hopefully he was able to get all that repaired, and he's back on the pace. He's running pace competitive with the leaders. He just needs to get a few breaks to catch up to those guys.
Yeah, that last lap was a 214.97. Now he's about just under a second faster than Tyler Langenberg, so that time is coming down, but 7 seconds is a big gap to make up on a track like this, as he puts a lap on Roger Shank right there. As we're going to go visit a driver we've not spoken much about yet, and that's this man, Marcus Osborne, is out on track, and he's in a battle with Nicholas Paletti. Paletti, last week's GT3 winner, looking to get another good result here tonight. Currently running in the top 5, not doing too badly, in a nice little battle with one of the league veterans, we have to say right now, Marcus Osborne.
Yep, Marcus has been there for a long time. It's always interesting to see what paint scheme Marcus comes with tonight. Looks like tonight we're representing the United States Postal Service, fitting for the Pony Express team racer.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of USPS, so
Well, Sam, it's a good thing you don't live here then.
I've had stuff sent by them, so it's and both times have not been pleasant experiences. So it's the computer I'm running right now. It was actually left in the controller. Oh God, that was a very close run thing there between Osborne and Corner right there as he makes his way around the outside. But yeah, U.S. Postal Service. I had my computer sent through them, and they damaged the case on my computer. So yeah, wasn't very impressed with that. And
well, you should take that up with Mr. Dillon.
Yeah.
see if he can do something for you.
Nah, he's fine. But anyway, Osborne actually getting away from Nicholas Paletti through that exchange right there, and right behind him is the overall race leader. That's Paul Skip now trying to put a lap on Tom Corner and Nicholas Paletti at the same time. And look who's starting to close in once again, Ronnie Osborne. Rear wing damage or not, he is absolutely... He's got a head full of steam right now, and he is closing in on Paul Skip.
Yeah, he's managed to cut that gap in half on Paul. Paul looks like he's also got a little bit of traffic to deal with, and Ronnie's going to have to deal with that same traffic. We'll see how much faster Ronnie can get through. We know he's had a few incidents already tonight trying to get through some lap traffic.
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously, as we already saw, we got into it with Oleg Vorotniak. But anyway, that is going to be how things are right now. We're going to go through the running order as things stand the top 10 in each class right now. Paul Skip is your leader in GTE, followed by Ronnie Osborne in second place. Patrick Ripley is the last man on the podium, about 2 seconds ahead of Terry Calgar Jr., who's in P4. Then you've got Tyler Langenberg, Paul Boyle, Keith Roycroft, Nick Terrell, Doug Argabright on his debut in P9. Good result for him so far. And Matt Johnson, good recovery from him so far in the last spot in the top 10. And GTE, your race leader in GTE is William Alcala, but he's got a hard charge of Mark Thomas right behind him in second place. Then you got Jimmy Covert in third place, and Marcus Osborne, just mentioned him, is in P4, followed by Nicholas Paletti, Zachary Nurnberger in P6, Tony Watson in P7, 8th is Aaron Claiborne, 9th is Andrew McMurray, and rounding out his top 10 in Roger Shank. Now this is the portion of the broadcast where we head away for a quick break, as we are way past halfway and headed into the last 40 minutes of this race. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes while we just take a small little bathroom break, and we'll have the final part of the race with you. Do not go anywhere. And we're back live here at Francorchamps for the round 3 of the Endurance for Amateurs series here on the Pony Express Sim Racing channel. And we've had a lot of controversy while we were away. Ronnie Osmer and Oleg Vorotniak getting into it in quite a big way here on a couple of laps ago. We saw it on the replay during the break there, JR. A bit of an angry situation between Osmer and Vorotniak. Vorotniak actually lost his cool and basically tried to take out Osmer and took himself out in the process.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened between these two gentlemen earlier in the race that caused that, but that was, I'm sure, something that will be discussed by the stewards and the admins when this race is over. Ronnie and Oliver, Oleg, both are probably going to be upset by this, so I'm sure it's something that they're going to have to take a look at.
Yeah, with that, Osmer has had to take his car down pit road to take his fast repair, and he is back up and running again. Vorotniak, I believe, is back out on track as well. No, he's actually put it on the hauler. He is out of the race. So as we look at Mackenzie Johnson there in the Mimet, he's got into it as well. He's got some damage on the left-hand side on the right-hand side of his car, I apologise, as he's showing that black mark on the front of his Corvette. Current leader right now is Nick Terrell. He's not been down pit road yet for his second stop. During the break, we did have most of our second round of pit stops in GTE. Now, GT3 is a bit of a different story. Not a lot of them are taking it down pit road yet, as they can seem to run a bit longer on their fuel tanks than the GTE cars.
Yeah, I think they got just a little bit, a couple more laps. Normally, this series is set up where the GTE cars typically run a little bit longer, but it seems like tonight that's just the opposite.
Yeah, it is. Mark Thomas, your leader in GT3 right now. Not really sure what has happened while we were away, but the previous leader in GT3 was Carl Handwerk. Oh yeah, he took it down pit road for that second pit stop. Now Carl Handwerk is slowly making his way back up for the field. He is back up to P8 right now. He did drop to almost the very back of the GT3 field after that short splash and go. Now he is looking to still work that strategy out. Now I've just noticed Paul Skip has just been in pit road for his, well, I believe this is his third stop, because I've not seen him. I'm pretty sure I saw him down pit road just a minute ago.
Yeah, these guys, I don't know if they got a lot of wrong information with their fuel strategies, or if they are just having a lot of damage from trying to lap some of these cars and pushing a little too hard. It seems like a lot of guys are taking a lot of pit stops tonight.
We're about to find out what happened to Paul Skip. No, Skip just entered pit road of his own volition. Now this is unusual. Ronnie Osmer has been in pit road as well. Osmer's had another incident as well somewhere down the line. Or is this just SDK playing games with me? And I'm pretty sure it is. Oh no, Osmer did go for a little spin. It was only a half spin, but with Paul Skip going down pit road right now, that's given the lead of the race over, but back to Ronnie Osmer, astonishingly.
Yeah, he's...
And the weird part is here, JR, is that, oh no, that was his third stop for Paul Skip, so I'm guessing Skip must have had a penalty.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I'm not seeing any issues. I don't see where he had any incidents. You know, it's hard when you can't talk to these guys. You really don't know. There's no pit crew. You can't ask a crew chief, hey, what happened there?
Yeah, I'm very interested to find out what happened to Ronnie. What Ronnie Osmer's side of the story is with the incident with Vorotniak, but somehow it's worked in his favour, and he has a 5 second, well, make that 4 second lead over Terry Cowger Jr., who's in second place. Tyler Langenberg is in third place right now. Good position for him to be in. He's managed to get the jump back on Patrick Ripley, who's now fallen out of the podium places in P4, and Paul Boyle back up to the top 5 in P5. Nick Terrell, after his pit stop in P6, having a much better run now than he did at the start of the race. Terrell was playing catch-up, now sitting very pretty inside the top 10.
He is, and there's a great battle for the lead between William Alcola and Carl Handwerk, and Carl just forces his way through there. And here we go again. They got the GTE leader coming up on the GT3 guys, and they're all battling. And I'm curious to see how Ronnie gets through traffic this time. He's had several incidents with back markers already tonight.
That he has, and he gets around William Alcala very easily, and that's let Carl Handwerk get away nice and easy as well. Now, the big question out of this one is, JR, can Carl Handwerk make it to the end? We had this question earlier on when he had that splash and go and came in very early. Does he have enough to make it to the end now?
Yeah, I don't know. He is going to be tight on fuel, and we've saw in the last couple of weeks there's been some interesting fuel strategy that's paid off. We've had David Lehman, who won last week on fuel strategy. So it'll be interesting to see if Carl manages to hold off, or maybe the time away from the sport has cost Carl some mathematical issues.
Well, that very good-looking Heineken car leading the way either way, and he's good 1.2 seconds ahead of William Alcala, who is only just ahead of Mark Thomas, who's putting a move on him right now through the bus stop chicane. Collision between Thomas and Alcala, and they're side by side on the exit right now. Terry Cowger Jr. going to be looking to try and get his way past Alcala, able to just hold on for now, but contact through the bus stop. They're all fighting for everything they can get right now, and Alcala still somehow ahead of Terry Cowger Jr., who's still trying to make his way around them.
Yeah, Terry is just trying to get around these guys and get away from their battle. You know, we got 20 minutes left, Sam. These guys are starting to see that clock ticking down, and they know they're going to have to push now if they plan on keeping that spot on the podium. And I can't imagine Mark Thomas being too happy with that, or William Alcola being very happy with either one of those two gentlemen. Are probably not the guys you want to be racing around right now. It's a good thing for Terry Kroger to get by them as fast as he could.
Yeah, now Tyler Langenberg trying to get his way past Mark Thomas right now, and Thomas not making it easy for him at all whatsoever. But yeah, that's just hard racing between Alcala and Thomas. I think I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too disheartened about that. They didn't really lose much out of it. They did lose the back end of Carl Handwerk, though, is now 3 seconds up the road. But I'm going to put that pretty much down to hard racing between the two, because they're still pretty much locked together with each other and still going strong. So no harm, no foul. Ronnie Osborne, a 4-second lead up the road from Terry Cowger Jr. now, who struggled to get around both of those guys. A battle going on in GT3 right now between Andrew McMurray and Jimmy Covert, as the GT3 Porsche going toe-to-toe with the GT3 Ferrari.
Yep, another good battle. Sorry, Sam, I'm trying to find that battle. I don't... Again, we talked about this a little bit in the break, and this is a new system that Sam has been trying to teach me. We just haven't had a lot of time to play with this yet, so I'm still trying to learn how all the buttons work on this one.
Yeah, it's not easy, but you'll get used to it once it all falls into place. But anyway, it's getting to that point in the race now, JR, where, well, we've talked about it before on previous Endurance for Amateurs broadcasts. Mental fatigue is going to start coming into play here, and this is the most difficult part of the race. You've got to try and keep your focus in check for these final few minutes of the race. And we've seen already in the past that it's not worked out for some drivers. Other drivers have just been mentally strong enough to make it to the end, but it's pretty much exhausting being out there that long and trying to keep that focus in check and able to stay out in front.
Yeah, Sam. Mental fatigue. The car's really going to get loose now. These guys have done an hour and 20 minutes on the same set of tires, so they're really slippery. Everything starts to slide around a little bit, and you're pushing all the harder. So yeah, mental fatigue is definitely going to have an effect on this race outcome yet tonight.
Watson having a bit of an off track there. Keith Roycroft is still going through the wars right now. He's had a bit of an off track too. Daniel Hingley in more trouble as well, as he's currently trying to play catch up again. William Alcala. Oh, what's happened here? William Alcala and Mark Thomas have come to blows again. And this is going into No Name. Oh, and Alcala just lost the back end of the car. Racing hard with Mark Thomas and through No Name, Jackets Corner, whatever you want to call it, just lost the back end. And that cost him a ton of time. And more importantly, that second spot on the podium.
Yeah, it looks like there was a little bit of a contact before that corner. Tough break for William McCullough tonight. He's been having a few incidents, but he's managed to hold it together right up until that point. Not going to be real happy.
He's got a decent gap over Marcus Osborne, and got to give a quick shout out to Marcus Osborne. He's on for his best ever finish in endurance for amateurs at the moment. Currently sitting P4, having a very, very strong night. He's been pretty much flawless tonight, is Mr. Osborne.
Yeah, Marcus is having a great race. I'm sure he would have liked to have been about 15 seconds up the road battling with Carl and Mark and the guys, but Marcus is having a good race. It is different to see him in that UPS car, though, Sam. I know you don't like that car, but I think it looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, it's it is a nice paint scheme, I will agree. And he's putting it to good use right there, being in P4. Nicholas Paletti, last week's winner in GT3, is currently rounding out your top 5 right there in that Spotify sponsored Porsche, and not doing too badly at all. That is Daniel Hingley behind him, by the way, in the Ford GT. And Zachary Nurnberger still going strong as well. He's in P6. And last week he predicted that he was going to finish P6. He got P5. I think he was a bit too early on his prediction of where he's going to finish, because he's in P6 right now.
Yeah, sorry, Sam. I'm just kind of getting a little bit of word on the incident between Ronnie and Oleg. It looks like the stewards have taken action on that, and that is something that we can discuss after the race is over. But it does look like Ronnie was at fault for the first incident, and then Oleg responded in a way that the league did not agree with.
Yeah, it was a very, very aggressive move.
Yep, and it appears that Oleg was not only banned from the race, but he has also been removed from the league. So, quick actions by the stewards to make sure that that kind of incidents don't happen again. And luckily, it didn't affect the outcome of the race. That would have been a shame for Ronnie.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ronnie's still able to continue and is leading this race by 4.5 seconds over that man just behind him. That is Terry Cowger Jr. now. Cowger will be looking to try and close that gap before this is all said and done. He's got about 14 minutes to do it. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. 4 seconds is a pretty big gap if you've only got 14 minutes left in this one, but we've seen miracles happen before. Now we've got a battle for third place going on right now. That is between Tyler Langenberg and Patrick Ripley. Coming up through Radion right now, right behind Roger Shankers. Ripley going to take advantage of this and try and get a big run on Langenberg. Here we go. Ripley right on the back of that blue Porsche as he looks around the outside now. Surely he can't get the job done on the outside line. He's definitely going to try it, though, as they're side by side into the right-hander. Now the left-hander almost coming to blows there, the two of them. But Langenberg just able to hold on there to that third place.
Nice driving by those two gentlemen. Patrick Ripley had all he could to get on the outside there, just didn't have enough room. and they both held their lines, and nice race, and nice. Tyler Langenbrenner did not budge an inch on that one. I'm sure this is going to go down to the last lap with these two.
Yeah, they are really going at it right now. Got a very good gap over Paul Boyle right now, who's got a decent gap over himself over Nick Terrell. So Boyle pretty much locked into that 5th place as things stand right now. Paul Skip still trying to play catch up after his penalty early. Is in P8 right now, 7 seconds off the back of Keith Roycroft, who seems to be having a lot of problems keeping it on the track limits at the moment. He's had a lot of off tracks from what I've been seeing on my time and scoring. Tony Watson is still playing catch up as well. He is currently sitting in P10 right now in class, and I believe is 1 lap down from the GTE class. Yes, he is. Everybody from the GT3 class is 1 lap down from GTE, so I don't even know why I brought that up. Car handwork is 5 seconds. 5 seconds the gap between Carl Handwork and Martin Thomas. Thomas is not exactly eating into that lead either. Handwork is pretty much flying right now, and you can see why. Thomas is trying to make his way around, he's lapping other GT3 traffic right now.
Yep, Mark just got caught. He got caught in a lot of bad spots. Sometimes you catch traffic, on the straightaways, and sometimes you catch them in those corners where you're just stuck following behind, and it's costing some time. So, Sam, as we got roughly 12 minutes left, 11.5 minutes left, I'm still waiting to see how Carl and his fuel strategy game works.
Well, we'll ask him at the end of the race if he manages to make it to the end. He's on lap. Well, what lap is
38?
he on? He's on lap 38 now, or 36 or 38, something like that. And he pit on lap 22. Now he was the first one to bring it down pit road, if you remember, because he short filled the tank in his first pit stop and took it into pit road for his second one, and he's not been down ever since. Now he did take fuel, no tires, because that was a 28-second pit stop. So I don't know. It depends on how long these cars can go on for with that tank of fuel. I know the fuel tank is bigger in these cars than it is the GTE cars, so it's it could happen. He could make it to the end, but we'll have to wait and see as we go back to the battle for 3rd place. This one still raging on between Tyler Langenberg and Patrick Ripley. Ripley doesn't have any traffic between him and Langenberg anymore. This is just a straight fight between the Porsche and the Ford GT.
Yep, these guys are going to come right down to the very end. Porsche versus Ford. Boy, where have we heard that before, Sam? Well, if we were only at Le Mans, we could have a little history lesson.
Oh yeah. Or as the movie goes, it's Ferrari versus Ford, but there's no Ferraris in GTE. So.
That's right, Ferrari versus Ford. I'm sorry, Sam. See, that's why we bring you along.
But there's no Ferraris in GTE, so we'll have to make do with the Porsche instead. So
there we go.
As we just had one taking down pit road. Carl Handwork in pit road from the lead.
So he is going to have to make that extra stop, and I think that's going to cost Carl the race tonight.
Yeah, that's going to handle.
I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to, especially as long as you're in pit lane here. You're in pit lane for a long time.
Absolutely. That's going to give the GT3 lead over to Mark Thomas right there. William Alcala will happily move up to 2nd place, and this will probably move Marcus Osborne up to 3rd place as well. And for the first time in his Endurance for Amateurs career, Marcus Osborne is potentially, fingers crossed, I'm not going to count anything right now.
We're waiting. Okay, he's making the pass on Carl, who's still in the pit lane.
The race isn't over yet. There's still 9 minutes left, but potentially, for the first time in his Endurance for Amateurs career, Marcus Osborne is going to get a podium.
A well-deserved podium at that.
Yeah.
Marcus is a good racer. He's been in this league a long time. It's surprising he hasn't been in this position before. The question is, how far behind is Nicholas Pletty? So he's got quite a bit of a gap to the guy behind him, so he doesn't have to worry. So hopefully Marcus can stay out of trouble, stay out of lap traffic, and bring this home.
And speaking of lap traffic, that's Nick Terrell trying to make his way around him, and he does successfully. Now, Paletti is 11 seconds back off of Osborne, so Paletti will know that he has a potential podium ahead of him. He's got 8 minutes left. It's not going to be enough, I don't think, to claw back 11 seconds between himself and that 07 machine.
Not unless Marcus has an incident or makes a mistake, and he's been driving flawlessly tonight. I don't see that happening, so I'm going to hold out hope that Marcus gets on the podium tonight. He deserves it.
Meanwhile, we've had a pass for third place, and it is a very important pass, and he's left it till right now to do it. Patrick Ripley has got around Tyler Langenberg for that third place, and I'm trying to find the where it happened so I can actually show you the replay. But you can see on your screen right there, it has happened. Patrick Ripley has passed Tyler Langenberg for third place.
Yeah, I'm looking as well, Sam, and it must have been
under the radar.
Again, you have so many incidents in this race that sometimes you just don't get a chance to see them all.
No, you don't. But this battle's still raging on, though.
I'm curious to see if Tyler he's still got a couple laps left. If he can put some pressure on Patrick and get that position back.
Well, the pressure
as we start to fall into it. Get darker and darker out here tonight, Sam.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be finishing under the cover of darkness, as this is going to be... Well, it's definitely dusk anyway out there. There's all a big wiggle there by Patrick Ripley, and you don't want to see that this late stage of the race, and Langenberg has not let him get away, so this battle's still going to rage on all the way to the checkered flag. Ronnie Osmer, controversy and all here tonight, still out in that overall lead. Now extended his gap to 5.1 seconds, and Osmer will be taking a big sigh of relief out of this one, because he knows that controversy could have ended his night tonight as well.
Yeah, I imagine, especially all the incidents he's had in the last couple weeks between this series and his NASCAR. He's had some incidents in NASCAR, so it'll be a well-deserved victory for Ronnie tonight if he's able to bring this all the way home, despite having incidents with just about everybody on the track and one racer in particular.
Yeah, we're trying to find the... Well, we're still looking at the battle between Langenberg and Ripley. This one's still raging on. There is a battle for the last spot in the top 5, by the way. And that is Zachary Nurnberger versus Aaron Claiborne, and right in between them is Paul Skip, who's still trying to catch up and make up for lost time. There goes Claiborne, big look into the inside of Nurnberger. He's going to try and make the move right now on the exit of Stabilo right now, as they made their way to that on that long run down towards the Blanchimont left-hander. Claiborne wants that top 5.
He does, and Zach is not making it easy on him. Zach held that corner all the way around the outside and was able to keep his position. We'll see if Aaron has any thoughts coming up into the chicane, and he's just not close enough. But I imagine after they get through Eau Rouge and up to the top of the hill there, Sam, Aaron might be close enough. He might be thinking about making a pass.
Might do, as they come down towards the La Source hairpin right now. We've got just about 4 minutes left in this race now, so probably about 2 laps, maybe a lap, well, maybe 3 laps for Ronnie Osmer. Just coming through, just come out of Fania right there. He's coming through Stabilo now, so he might have 2 laps left, so he'll be picking up the popsicle sticks this time around as he comes up down this last part of the track towards Blanchimont. But yeah, the battle between Claiborne and Nurnberger is going on, and
Nurnberger gets a break. He gets a lap guy between the two of them at a perfect timing for Zach. Nice timing for Zach. Sometimes it's skill, sometimes it's luck. It looks like a little bit of both in Zach's part tonight.
Yeah, that's Aiden Svoboda that just gone around. Yeah. Oh, Claiborne cannot get around Svoboda right now. This is going to be a welcome sight for Zach.
Yeah, perfect. Zach couldn't ask for better, and Claiborne pushes his way through that time. He wasn't going to be held up any longer.
No, he wasn't.
And you know, rightfully so. He shouldn't be getting battled that hard by a lap driver. You know, those guys should understand that these guys are battling for podium positions. You know, you want to race, but you also want to race clean, and you want to race fair to those guys that are ahead of you.
That you do, and Claiborne now can set his sights back on trying to get to the back of Zachary Nurnberger. And Zachary Nurnberger made the announcement before the start of the season that he was not going to run in endurance for amateurs this season. Well, this is going to be, well, if he can hold on, this is going to be his second top 5 in a row. I think he might be lamenting that decision, because I think he might want to stay on for the season if he's going to get good results like this every week now.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to make a claim and have a plan, and then all of a sudden you start to do good and you start to put together some top 5s, and maybe we can convince Zach to stay around a little longer.
He's the open wheel for amateurs steward, so that's where his primary focus is as he makes his way out of La Source. And here comes Claiborne again right on the back of Nurnberger. Meanwhile, back up in GTE, the battle still raging on for that last spot on the podium between Patrick Ripley and Tyler Langenberger. Just not letting him go as Langenberger. He really is trying to force Ripley into a mistake, and Ripley still looking very strong in that Ford GT.
Yeah, Ripley he's managed to put just enough of a gap where I don't think that he's going to have to worry about anybody coming up the inside, allowing him to drive his lines. And Patrick has shown that he has pace in that Ford GT tonight. Nice to see him up there in the front in that nice Ford Motorcraft. I like that paint scheme.
Yeah, very nice Ford GT scheme on that car. We've had an incident for Andrew McMurray. Now, he was in a battle just a minute ago. Let's take a look and see what happened. And then we're coming down the Camel Straight right here. And this is a battle with Handwork. And oh, that's a big hit for both Handwork and McMurray. And they both go off of the Camel Straight. And that is some severe damage on both the Porsche and that Heineken Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, not what Carl wanted to see tonight. You know, he had that unusual pit strategy that kind of put him in that spot, and not what he wanted to have happen.
Yeah, as they do carry on, the both of them, as we are getting to the very end of this race now. And now on his final lap at this moment is this man. White flag in the air for one, Mr. Ronnie Osborne, who's making his way through Pouon for the final time here at Spa. We'll look to try and get around Alexander Matola through Fagnier.
Yep.
And great.
Ronnie's hoping to not see any more traffic and no more lap drivers. He just wants a nice, clean last 30 seconds of a lap.
Yeah, it's been a controversial run here tonight for Ronnie Osborne, but it's been a successful one regardless. He's going to come out on top of this one. A very poor start to the season, but this will be where his season starts right now as he comes through Blanchimont for the final time here at Spa. Will make that big run up towards the bus stop chicane for the final time here in this race. Out of the chicane and into victory lane is one Mr. Ronnie Osborne as he wins at Spa-Francorchamps. A great result. Controversy abound, but one winner out on top of that one. Ronnie Osborne. Terry Calgar Jr. crosses the line for second place in GTE, and Patrick Ripley will just about hold on. He gets the last spot on the podium in GTE, followed by Tyler Langenberg. Paul Boyle will be the next one to cross the line he will get the last spot in the top 5 for him. We are going to focus on the battle for the last spot in the top 5 in GTE, because here it is. Right now, JR, they are going right at it, Nurnberger and Aaron Claiborne.
Yep, these two have managed to spend an hour and 41 minutes of racing only to find themselves in a heated battle with a couple corners left to go. We'll see. It's all going to come down to that bus stop chicane. If Aaron decides he's going to run it up in there, or if Zach's going to defend, hopefully these guys come out of there clean and nobody ruins their evening.
Meanwhile, Mark Thomas has crossed the line. He picks up his first race win of the season and a great result for him. But here we go. It's going to be a big send here from Aaron Claiborne around the outside, but looks like Nurnberger might just hold on here on the exit of the chicane. And here comes Claiborne. Going to be a big run towards the line. Is Nurnberger going to hold on? He just holds on by 1/10 of a second over Claiborne. Just
What
that
a
close for the
great
last spot in the
battle.
top 5. Wow. Tony Watson in a battle with Carl Handwork there for P7.
Looks like Carl's just trying to hold on. I don't think that car is in any condition.
It's just given up the ghost right before the line. He let Andrew McMurray through. Zach Purcell.
I think he's out of fuel again.
Oh. Oh, and Handwork
And
lost
I
the spot to
think-
Purcell as well.
Yep.
Just made it to the line in time to stay ahead of Sean Crowley, but not a good finish there for Handwork. That fuel strategy was on. A very, very unorthodox fuel strategy really did not work in his favor right there.
Not tonight. No, it just wasn't in the cards for him tonight.
Yeah, we'll come back at the Hungara ring next week and hopefully it'll work out for him then. But your race winners here tonight, Ronnie Osmer, Terry Catt, and Ronnie Osmer and Mark Thomas. We're going to get interviews with them and the second place finishers. Well, we might as well reach out to them right now as we're going to go to the... Well, I don't know why I just started at Spotify. I do apologise for that one. Anyway, we're going to go... I'm having a night tonight, I swear.
We are having a great time, Sam.
We are, as we're going to bring in the race winner from GTE and Ronnie. It's been a controversial night tonight for yourself, but victory lane regardless. After a poor couple of first rounds, you finally get on the top step of the podium.
Yeah, finally. It was a fun race. Despite one person in the field that doesn't deserve to hold a steering wheel in a empty parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, like I said, a lot of controversy here tonight between yourself and Mr. Oleg Vorotniak. Just before we go on to the celebration speeches, just talk us through what happened there. What was going on between you two?
From what I remember, I went to pass him when I was in a battle for the lead with Paul. We made contact and wrecked. Got back going, was running Paul back down. And then he let Paul by. Thought he was letting me back by and decided to drive me off the track, attempt to wreck me. So I moved him out of the way, showed him my displeasure about it. Then he decided to think he was Scott Speed or something and keep his throttle to the floor, thought he could wreck me. But yeah, if someone feels like they need to do that, actually I don't even deserve a steering wheel. I wouldn't even hand them a controller.
Well, that was thankfully it worked out in your favor. It didn't end up in any serious damage. You had some rear wing damage from that first bit of contact, but still able to stay out in front, and you had a bit of luck on your side as well, because obviously you were battling all race long with Paul Skip, but that coming to an end very abruptly when he got a penalty and had to drop back for the field.
Yeah, that was unfortunate what happened to Paul. Like, even with the incident of the dummy, we were still gonna have a great race either way, come down in the end. It's just, I feel like the Corvettes and the Porsches were just mixed very well. balance wise throughout this race. The Porsches were better on the heavy fuel loads, and then as the fuel loads got lighter, the Corvettes got better. So that's how I felt like that the race was going. That we were going to be close there at the end of the battle. But it was unfortunate what happened to him. I was looking forward to a good race with him, but I'll take the win either way.
Yeah, and obviously this kicks you on now and gets you up there in the championship fight with that one race win. Obviously, you've already used your 2 drop weeks with 2 retirements already this season. Looking ahead to Hungaroring next week, Ronnie, what's your thoughts heading into that one? A brand new track on the schedule.
It should be an interesting race. I haven't really gotten to do any laps yet on iRacing, but I definitely got enough practice on the Formula One game, so we'll see how the difference of a Formula One car and a GT is.
Yeah, they call it Monaco without the walls. I'm pretty sure you're pretty well suited to stuff like that. Obviously, if you've run around Monaco, you've definitely got Hungaroring nailed down. But anyway, Ronnie, before I let you go and celebrate your very eventful night here tonight, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? Who's responsible for bringing that Corvette to victory lane here tonight?
Shout out to PH Ware, all my guys on VSM, all the people watching my stream on Twitch, and the guys that run this league, and you for broadcasting, Sam.
All right, Ronnie, congratulations on your win tonight. Obviously, wasn't the most easiest of nights, but congratulations regardless. Go and get yourself some rest, and I'll catch you next week.
All right, see you.
That was Ronnie joining us from Victory Lane now. Lynn, do you fancy speaking to Terry? Oh,
Yeah,
JR,
can we get
sorry.
Terry in here?
Yeah, JR, let's bring in Terry, and he is with JR Cup now from second place on the podium.
Congratulations, Terry. Nice race tonight. I know it probably wasn't where you were hoping to finish, but you had a lot of great battles tonight. How did things look from your perspective?
Definitely not where I was looking to finish, but I'll take it, especially after the little netcode incident I had coming out of turn 1 that spun me and knocked me back a little bit. Great battles with Skip and Ronnie. It was fun. I think Skip and I wore our tires out a little bit, fighting each other, and let Ronnie catch up a little bit there.
Yeah, so Spa has a tendency to lend itself to a lot of great battles, and you had quite a few of those this evening. Do you think that tires did you take tires? Maybe I should start there. Did you contemplate taking tires, or was it never even an option?
Not an option. Only very few tracks will I consider taking tires, and this one wasn't that bad. They did start sliding around a lot more there at the end. I was trying to push real hard to catch Ronnie and made up a little bit of ground, and then I just cooked the tires, and that was it. And I had to just settle in for the remainder.
Well, a second place is not exactly a bad spot to finish up this evening. So going into next week, what are your thoughts into next week? How are you looking forward to where we're going next?
I am, actually. I had a good run there in our practice race in the LMP2, though. So I'm finally finding my legs again with the GTE after spending the entire off season getting ready for the LMP. But I'm happy I'm back in the GTE class and a more familiar car, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to having you around for the entire season. Hope you battle for the championship. Is there anybody you want to thank and give a shout out to this evening that helped you get to where you're at today?
My family and friends that I have watching this. My dad, goes crazy watching this thing after, he doesn't watch it live, but he'll watch it the next day. You guys for doing the broadcast and the podcasts that are going on, everybody that has anything to do with putting on the league, Mark, and the whole Pony Express team.
Well, great results tonight, Terry. Congratulations on an awesome second place finish, and we look forward to hopefully speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
So that was Terry Carger Jr. joining JR from second place. Now joining myself from Victory Lane once again is your GT3 winner, and This one's been hard coming in. It ended with a great battle. Mark Thomas, first win of the season. Been working hard for this one. A bit mid-range in the first two races. Finally getting that win here tonight. You've got to be happy with how things turned out.
Yeah, I'm absolutely elated, to be brutal, Sam. It was, yeah, I've not had the best luck so far this year. Wrong car choice last week, and I don't know what happened with the first one. It all just went. I think it was me and an LMP had a slight argument where I come off a lot worse. But yeah, really happy with this one. I like Spa. It's a great track.
Yeah, and you went with the popular choice this week. You went with the Ferrari, rocking the Alitalia paint scheme. It's a very popular car around here, as I just mentioned. What was your liking about the Ferrari around here? Obviously, it's a new car. It's very fast. Was that the defining thing that made you choose it over the BMW?
You know me, I'm normally a BMW guy, but I just couldn't get the lap times with a BM like I could with the Ferrari. The Ferrari's just so well balanced. It's really, really neutral. It turns in nice, even on worn tyres, which sort of made it up for me. And it's just really easy to keep. Not really easy, but it's nice to keep right on the edge. You know, with the Beamer, it's really good on the brakes. I love the Beamer for that, and that's why I like it. But the Ferrari for here is just so neutral, and there's so much flowing corners here. You can just keep it balanced right on the edge, and it just flies.
Yeah, well, it does, and it's a good car to have around. I've run it a few times around here, and I enjoy it as well. Let's talk about your race, though, Mark. You were involved in quite a number of battles here tonight, none more so than one with Mr. William Alcala. Enjoying the fighting out there, and happy that you were able to come out on top there.
Enjoyment is not. Yeah, enjoyed it. Stressed, really stressed. Man, he is so quick. He is so good, and his car placement is just epic. He's so hard to pass. But we were to and fro for a fair few laps. I made I wouldn't say a bad move, but for some reason I couldn't get it stopped up to the inside into the chicane, and we come together, and I had to let him go because there's no way I wanted to make the pass like that. But yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, we were both, well, I mean, I know I was trying my little heart out. I mean, if William comes on and says that he was just cruising around, I'm going to be absolutely devastated.
But yeah, good battle, and you came out on top of that one. But next week we head to another famous Formula One circuit. Next week we are off to the Hungaroring for the first time in the league's history. What are your thoughts heading into that one? They call it Monaco without the walls. I'm pretty sure you agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Hungaroring's going to be interesting, I think. Again, I think that's, I don't know, I think I might stick with the Ferrari there because, again, it's very, it can be very flowy. It's quite tricky, and you need balance there. I'm kind of in two minds. I'm going to leave you all guessing as to which car I'm going to choose before next week.
I'll be looking forward to finding out which one it is, but Mark, congratulations on finally getting that win under your belt for this season. Definitely going to put you in good stead with regards to the championship. Before I let you go and celebrate, I know it's late right now. It's nearly 4 a.m. But anybody you'd like to give a shout out to who's responsible for bringing that Ferrari to victory lane here tonight?
Yeah, the Core Racing League, this racing Pony Express, because they are just, I mean, Core is where I started, and I've been working my way up through and learning my roadcraft there. Pony Express for, again, running just epic races. All of the Pony Express guys, Bad Obsession Motorsport, who are kind of stay in touch with me. Simplicity for the direct drive wheel, all of the sponsors and yourselves for just putting on an epic broadcast.
All right, well, Mark, congratulations one more time. Go and get yourself some rest. You've earned a good night's sleep tonight, and we'll catch you next week when we head to Hungaroring.
Thanks very much. Take care, Sam. Nice talking to you.
And you too. That was Mark Thomas joining us from Victory Lane in GT3. Now joining JR from second place is the man that was battling hard for that race win, but ultimately came home second place. That's William Alcala.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, William. Nice race tonight. Came up a little bit short there, but boy, you and Mark had some epic battles tonight. How did that look from your perspective?
It was tough, man. He was really really fast on the first stint, and then throughout the race, I was able to kind of stay on pace with him. Uh, it was just a hard fought race, man. We had a little bit of contact both on his side and my side, and just made that mistake at the very end. Who knows what would have happened if I didn't make that mistake, spinning myself out. Could have been really close, but hats off to Mark for an amazing race.
Yeah, you two battled pretty much the entire race there. What exactly is it about Spa that lends itself to some of those epic battles that you guys had tonight? How does Spa rate in your pantheon of tracks?
Definitely top five. Spa is just one of those tracks where anyone can drive it, but it does take a lot to master it. And like when you do nail down a really good lap, it feels like a hot knife going through butter. It feels right, and it's just one of those tracks that is just so iconic, just in the racing world, and it's got a lot of character to it. It's got a lot of you know uh, unique traits to it, different corners. You rarely have a corner that's the same, and I think that's why it's revered by drivers and race fans alike, on like being like one of the greatest tracks ever, because there's more than just one takeover opportunity on the track, and it really, it can reward you, but it can also take away just as easily. So there's a nice balance between that.
Yes, very true. So now next week we are going to a completely different circuit. We're going to Hungaroring. Have you had a chance to turn a lot of laps there, or is this going to be
No,
something different?
it's gonna be something different. I gotta buy the track, so I gotta make sure to budget for that. But the only time I've had on Hungaroring were the F1 games, but last time I turned any laps was like a good 3 years ago. So I know the track. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. It's just one of those tracks where it's like a single file track, at least with Formula One. But I'm very curious to see how well it's going to do with the GT3s and GTEs. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more racy than what we see in Formula One.
Yeah, I think Hungaroring is going to lend itself to a lot of close action where you might have a little bit more of that beating and banging. But congratulations on a strong second place finish tonight. So or whom got you here tonight? Who you want to give a shout out to? Who do you want to thank for making this happen for you?
Well, gotta shout out to you guys for calling the race. I'm sure you guys did a great job. Can't wait to go back and watch that. Obviously big shout out to Pony Express Sim Racing, and all the stewards and all of the owners and moderators that take time out of their own day to run this league, and the multiple leagues that it provides. I really love it, just having a platform that amateur drivers can kind of essentially cut their teeth with multiple varieties of racing, to kind of help them get prepared for officials as well. So that's nice. And last but surely not least, my wife just letting me do this as a hobby and just really focus on it. Coming home from work, eating dinner, and hopping on and racing and practicing. For about 3 hours. It's really awesome to have a partner that allows you to kind of pursue your hobby like that. So it's great run. The shame I had to miss last week, but finished third in the LMP2 before that class got kiboshed, and finished second. So gonna try to go for a GT3 uh, season win here. I came up short in the GT3B class last season and second to Roger Shank, which I'm actually really surprised on how low he finished. I was expecting him to be up there with us, and I'm actually surprised I ran as well as I did today. I didn't think I was going to be essentially competing for a win, but enough rambling for me. Thank you guys so much.
Well, thank you. Congratulations again, and hopefully you'll get some laps in before next week at Hungaroring, and we look forward to seeing you compete there as well.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So that was Mr. William Alcala joining us from second place in GT3 now. JR, it's been a long night. It's been an eventful night. What stood out for you tonight with regards to racing here at Spa?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's going to have to be the incident and the subsequent disqualification, the first ever disqualification of a driver. It was really sad to see that happen, that somebody lost their emotions to the point where we had to see a normally good and competitive driver have to leave. So as much as I'd like to say some of the racing, it was really sad to see that happen. You know, it's been a full year of racing with 4 different leagues and now 6 different leagues, and we've never had that incident happen. So unfortunately for me, it happened tonight at what was a great race, a lot of close battles. So unfortunately, Sam, that's kind of where I stood. What did you take away from tonight, Sam?
Big shifts in the championship here tonight was what I took away from it. Obviously, David Lehman, that early retirement really going to put him on the back foot going into Hungary next week, and big shifts, big moves by Patrick Ripley and Terry Calgar Jr. with their attack on the championship fight as well in GTE. GT3 as well, it's as open as a wide open door. It's anybody's game at this point, because we've had 3 different winners in that class, and GT3 is just so open right now, and I'm looking forward to see how that one progresses as the season goes on. And today was another indicator of how good that class is at the moment, and yeah, it's going to be fun, and all the battles going on, especially the battle between Mark Thomas and William Alcala. That was one to savour, and the battle at the end there between Zachary Nurnberger and Aaron Claiborne. GT3 is really on point at the moment.
It is close, competitive, and there's just so many guys, and it seems like every track it's somebody different. So that's a great thing to see for this league, and a great thing moving forward. I can't wait to see what battles we get next week.
Yeah, we will find out next week when we head to Hungaroring, and that is the next one on the schedule. So make sure you tune in to that one. Going to be an exciting race, the first ever visit to that track for this league. So make sure you tune in for that one. Next broadcast will be the Open Wheel for Amateurs series. They head to Sonoma this coming Monday, so make sure you tune in for that one too. Coming up on Friday night will be the next broadcast for Pony Express Sim Racing. They will be with Extreme Sim Racing. They will be the NASCAR for Amateurs series. That will be coming up this coming Friday night, so make sure you check those guys out. Give them a like and subscribe as well. But before we go, let's go through the championship right now. The results right now, not the championship, as we get ready to get out here. And coming home with the victory in GTE was Ronnie Osma. He gets his first victory of the season, despite the controversy between himself and the unfortunate Oleg Vorotniak. Coming home in second place was Terry Calgar Jr. Then rounding out your podium after a lengthy battle with Tyler Langenberg was Patrick Ripley. Langenberg coming home in P4. Then you got Paul Boyle rounding out the top 5. Nick Terrell, great ticket, 6th place for him, with Paul Skip getting that penalty and having to settle for P7 after leading for a good portion of the race. Keith Roycroft comes home in P8 with Brad McCombs in P9. Doug Argabright getting a P10 on his debut. Great result for him. Mackenzie Johnson troubles all night long for him. He gets P11. Daniel Hingley gets P12 with John Nielsen was not in GTE, so I'm not sure why he's showing up on that one. But anyway, Carlos Ramos was there. David Lehman, early retirement because of connection issues with his headset and a blue screen of death. Ryan Glover. Nope, that's going to be it for GTE. Anyway, GT3. We have Mark Thomas coming home as your winner here tonight, with William Alcala in second place. Great battles between those two. Marcus Osborne picking up his first ever podium for Endurance for Amateurs. Got to be happy with that one for him, and big congratulations going out to him here tonight. Nicholas Paletti, last week's winner, coming on with another top 5 here tonight in P4. Zachary Nurnberger in the top 5 once again. He'll be happy he's stuck around, with Aaron Claiborne right behind him, 1/10 of a second in it between those two, P5 and P6 respectively. Tony Watson in P7, Andrew McMurray in P8, Zach Purcell 9th with Sean Crowley 10th. Carl Handwork, strategy not working out for him. He had to settle for P11 with Alexander Matola, Roger Shank, James Foreman, Carl Smith, Dave Ferrara, Tom Corner, Dan Coleman, Gary Schilling, Jimmy Kober, Aidan Svoboda, Oliver Rotniak, Adam Dahl, Alex Cornfield, rounding out your GT3 deal. But that is going to do it for us here tonight on Pony Express Sim Racing. Great racing all around, controversy as well. This one had it all, but we have to say goodnight for this one as we head towards the Hungaroring for round 4 of the season. From myself, Sam Cooper, and from my broadcast partner, Mr. JR Cup, the master of mediocrity, we bid you adieu and have a good night. See you soon.